I'm going to show you exactly how to make this carrier today, and it's going to be your favorite item in the cart when you need to unload the groceries, because you can put all the plastic bags on there and be able to carry everything in one trip. Now the first thing I want to do is show you exactly how I designed this. It takes just a matter of minutes in the VCarve Pro. If you're using the easel software, you can use the exact same techniques that I'm going to be using today in the VCarve Pro. Keep in mind, there are many different ways to be able to design this very simple carrier, and you can do it really any way that you want to. So what I'm going to do is just come up and start a brand new file. We'll click on New, and I'm going to set this as a single-sided job. It's going to be 12 on the x-axis. We'll make it 8 inches on the y-axis, and this is a 1/2 inch material. The material surface is we're going to do the 0 probe. I'm going to use the center point to be able to do this design work, and of course we're going to set this up as the standard. We don't need anything else. We'll click OK. Now the first thing I'm going to do is just make some rectangles. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to just drop in a rectangle right in here, and let's set up the size of 4 inches on the x-axis, and we'll make this 1.5 on the y-axis. We've already got this clicked for the radius at 0.6. Now I had this at 1.5, so that's close enough. There'll be a little bit of a flat edge there, but that's perfectly fine. So we'll close that out, and then to make it real simple, we're just going to use the offset tool. And with the offset tool, I want to extend this outward. We'll go out 3/4 of an inch, and we'll do the offset. We'll close that, and the handle is done. Now I need to put another rectangle here, and we'll close this out. We'll put in another rectangle, and we'll just come in like this. This time I want to keep it square. We'll apply that. And what size do I want? Let's just make this 1.5 on the x-axis, and we'll make that 3 inches on the y-axis. And these are just very arbitrary numbers. You can make this any way that you want it. Now at this point, we're going to close it, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to bring this over to the center point, slide it up in there. It can cross over, that's fine. Now the next thing, we'll just drop in another rectangle. Another rectangle that will come right across here, and we'll make that rectangle 7 inches long is fine. 0.0, and we'll make this the 3/4 of an inch again. We'll hit apply, and that is fine. Now we'll close that out. Now I need these two arms up here, so we'll do the same thing. I'm just going to make one rectangle right now, and I'm going to come in right in this area, and we'll make that 3/4 of an inch on the x-axis, and we'll make it let's make it 5 inches on the y-axis. We'll hit apply, and that looks good. Whoops, I don't want that. Let's get rid of that. Uncreate. All right, we'll close that out. Now I want to take this, and I can use this handle right here, and I can rotate that. And I can rotate it just about there. Doesn't matter the angle. We'll slide that down into here, and I think I'll slide it over just a little bit. Okay, so it's actually right there at that corner. And then I want to put a circle on top. This circle can really be any size that you want it. I'm just going to make it about that big, which is 0.4. We'll just make it a good even 0.4 radius. We'll hit apply, and we'll close that, and we'll slide that over to there and put it right on that edge. Now then, let's clean this up a little bit. I'm going to come over here with a cut tool. We're going to trim this, get all this out, get this out. There we go, we'll get that out. And there's your basic shape. Now we'll close this, and I want to come down here to the fillet tool, and we're going to do a 1/2 inch fillet, normal, and I'm going to come in and do that right here, 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 and here. And quite frankly, I don't even need to do this side. I'm going to show you why. Now we'll do the same thing up here, and we'll do the same thing over there. Just rounds it off a little bit, joins everything, makes a nice little round radius there. So we'll close that up. Whoops, let's see, one more. I need a big radius in here. So let's go down to the fillet tool again. And this time we'll do a 1 inch radius. And we'll come into here, and we'll come into there. So there is our plastic carrier for one side. Now, one of the simplest things to be able to do is come up here to this line tool, and I'm just going to draw a line all the way through this, and we'll close that out, and I'm going to take this side over here and cut it away. There you go. Now I just have that one thing. Now we'll come over here to this line and we'll cut it. So there is half of the plastic carrier. So now I'm going to take and highlight this whole thing. We're going to come up here to the mirror tool. We're going to create a mirrored copy, and we want this to go to the right. So we're going to flip it to the right. There's the other side of it. We'll close it. And now you have your carrier. Just that simple to be able to create it, and it only took about 6 minutes to be able to do it. Now again, there's many ways to be able to design this, but this is just one simple way to be able to do it. From there, we can set up the toolpaths. Now at this point, the carrier is completely done. It's symmetrical on both sides, and one of the things I do like to do before setting up the toolpaths is run the vector validator. And I'm going to select all of the points, and we'll hit search, and you can see we're 0 across the board. So that's going to be real good. That's not going to cause any problems with being able to cut this out. You can see everything is connected, and everything is connected, of course, on the inside. So now we'll come up here to this section right there, click on that icon, and we're going to come over here and do the profile toolpath. And from here, I'll set this up on 0. We're going to cut down 0.5 of an inch. I'm going to use a 1/4 inch end mill. Don't need to do this in 7 passes. I'm going to change this to 3 passes. We'll just do 3 and apply. That will take care of that part. And we'll hit OK. I am going to cut this on the outside. It will cut all of this on the outside, and it knows to cut this on the inside. So that will all work. And we'll highlight all of that because they're going to say no vectors here in a minute. And then we'll come down, and at this point I could name this anything that I want, and I can hit calculate. Now if you want to add ramps, you can add ramps. You can add tabs. I typically use the glue and tape method, so I don't use the tabs, but I do like to use the ramps so it just doesn't plow into the wood. And typically what I'll do is just set this up as far as the distance and have it go down 1 inch to the depth of the next level as it's cutting. Now from there, I'm not going to change this. I'm just going to hit calculate. Oh, there is an open vector. Let's find out where the open vector is, and we'll take care of it. So there's the open vector. Go over here to the node edit mode. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to bring this back to here. And I am just going to connect them this way. So after setting up the profile toolpath again, I ran the preview, and this is what it's going to look like. So that's exactly what I wanted to be able to have. Because I'm using just one bit, I can actually cut this out in one toolpath. Of course, it's going to cut this inner circle for the handle first, and then it'll go and cut the outside. Now remember, I'm using the glue and the tape method to be able to hold this down, so that center piece of that handle is going to remain in place. I did not use the dust collection on purpose. I wanted you to be able to get a very clear look at exactly how this is carving. Yes, it does create a lot of sawdust, but that's okay. I think it's important for you to be able to see the actual cutting process on how this works. So after just a very few minutes, the project is actually cut out. Now I did use a small piece of the plywood for the wasteboard, so I wouldn't cut into the actual wasteboard on the CNC machine, and that's where the glue and tape method held everything down. But you can see that slips off quite easily, and the only thing I need to do now is just sand and clean this up. One of the things I want to do is use this 1/4 inch roundover bit just to be able to smooth the edges on this plywood. That will make it a lot more comfortable to be able to handle it when I'm carrying the different plastic bags. Because of the shape of this handle, you really can't use the fence, and that means you can't use the dust collection. So that has a lot of sawdust that's going to be flowing around the shop. So you want to make sure that you use your dust mask and do this very carefully so that you keep your fingers away from this blade. So now it's just time to use a 220 grit sandpaper and sand everything, and this will be finished. And when I was almost finished, this happened. I didn't realize it, but there was a significant void that went all the way through the plywood, and that handle broke. I made out of the plywood, but there was a big void in the plywood and it broke. So I do not recommend using the plywood to make this carry-all. What I do suggest is being able to go to any of the big box stores, your Walmart, grocery stores, any different places, and pick up a inexpensive cutting board. And you can pick up these cutting boards very, very inexpensively, and that's what I use for a lot of different projects in the shop. These things are very, very strong. They're not going to break, and this is made out of the HDPE, and it cuts extremely well. So that's what I would recommend to do. And to cut out this material, I used the exact same file, the exact same settings. I did not change anything. I used the plywood as the wasteboard, and I set it up to be able to hold this cutting board with the glue and the tape method. So there was absolutely no change there whatsoever. The thickness of this cutting board was 10 millimeters. If you remember, the file was set up to be able to cut down 12 millimeters. And that's okay because I have the wasteboard that's in place. All that will happen is that it will cut down into that plywood wasteboard, and that's okay. It still will not damage the actual wasteboard that's on the CNC machine itself. I am using the dust collection this time to be able to capture as many of the particles as I can. The one thing that I should have done is lower the dust boot down. I did not do that. So unfortunately, it's not capturing as many of the chips as I would like, but I'm not going to stop it. I'm going to let this file continue to run. I've shown in previous videos this dust collection system that I have set up with this boom arm, and quite frankly, this works absolutely amazing, but you do have to have the dust boot down to the material surface. The other thing I want you to notice is there is no melting. These are all good sized chips, and that's what you want. As this goes lower into the material on this third pass, you can see that the dust boot is almost touching the surface. And as a result, it's picking up most of the chips now that's on the surface of this material. And again, I used 3 passes to be able to cut this out. The job is finished now. I need to move the machine out of the way, and then I can get easy access to the material, and I can release it from this glue and the tape. Now this actually holds better than you think with this glue and the tape method, but that comes out perfect and it cuts extremely clean. The only thing I'm going to do is just barely sand over these edges. I'm not going to put this on the router because this is quite a bit thinner, and it's going to be more difficult to be able to do it. So I think just sanding over these sharp edges is really all that's necessary. Well, how does this carrier work? Well, I just happen to have a few groceries in the back of the car. So I'm going to take my brand new carrier, slip these bags onto this plastic bag carrier, and bring it inside. And it works fantastic. Now this is 4 bags that I'm putting on here, and this is some heavy canned goods that are on this carrier. So I can easily pick it up with one hand, holding all 4 bags, walk it inside the house, and it makes it so much easier to be able to handle just one carrier with these 4 bags. And I can just bring it right there, set it on the table, and easily unhook it. That is a game changer. This plastic bag carrier is going into the back of the car, and it's going to stay there. It's going to make my job a whole lot easier, being able to get all the groceries out at one time with this type of carrier, and I do not have to fight the individual bags anymore. I think I'm going to love it. And again, if you did find value in this, please consider subscribing right down there, and don't forget to hit the bell notification. But more importantly, I'm very curious as to what type of method do you use to be able to carry the groceries in to the house? Do you just grab a handful, or do you have some type of a carrier? And if you do have a carrier, let me know what you use. I'm finding that this works extremely well, and I'm very pleased with it. Now, if you want to see more videos like that, take a look at these videos right up here. I hope they will help you out. So I hope to see you in the next video. And for now, I'm going to say bye-bye, everyone. And I'll see you real soon in the next one.